What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I'm JJ Wang. He's the bearded one, DJ Dove. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Hey, JJ Wang. This is our first Saturday show. In case you're catching it today when it came out, surprise, we realized that we're not very smart. Why would we record a Saturday show and release it on Wednesday when things actually happen? We might do it in the off season just to keep things spread out, but we are getting ready for the season. It is Saturday some point. We're not setting an exact time before it was 5 a.m. on Wednesday, but Saturday we'll record it. I'll get it through processing. It's more than likely going to be the afternoon to everything gets through with life and kids and whatnot. But we have a Saturday show next week. We will have some more of we'll have our wide receiver and our tight end preview show. So how you doing today, JJ Wang?
Doing good. It's a great day. I know there's not too many wrestling fans out there, but we'll bring it up. CM Punk did return last night, so I'm pretty excited. Gets my weekend off to a good start. Yeah, that's right. Pretty excited. It was a big night.
Also, a couple cool things. If you are listening to us on the podcast, you're missing out on our fancified backgrounds. Our names are on the screen. We look official. Our heads are on football fields. Our names are on the screen. We are now officially clip arted. That's the best I got. Looking ahead, you can still have time to enter the Keep Trade Trash contest. You can enter it by commenting on Twitter. You could email us at thefantasycouriers@gmail.com, Facebook at the Fantasy Couriers, Instagram the Fantasy Couriers. You could put a YouTube comment, post there mentioning you're interested in joining the Keep Trade Trash, or just to make it easy, go to our website, thefantasycouriers.wixsite.com/website. All of this is linked into all of our podcast links into our YouTube. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Anchor. And this week I did some searches and I found we're also on Podbay, listennotes.com, and Podbean. Free promotions for you guys. I've heard of Podbean, the other two. Cool. Welcome to the world. We are setting a goal of getting 50 subscribers on YouTube in August. So we are at 36 as of this recording this morning. Can we get 14 more people? We want to get there. Our real goal in life is 1,000, but we'll get 50. Let's go 50 and get there. And feel free to go. So we're going to start today by talking about JJ Wang's question from last week. JJ, can you give us a 30-second review of what you were talking about? I have a response from one of our biggest fans, then you can tell us what you did.
Yeah, I'll try to get it in 30 seconds. So there wasn't a flex spot. We had a vote. Commissioner kind of did the he got the final vote, even though it was a 2-2 tie. So that's pretty much. I didn't agree with it. I want the flex spot. He doesn't. Trying to figure out what everybody thought.
Yeah, and I think last week I basically said, really, the big problem is you have an even number of people voting. That's just ridiculous. So figure that one out. Here is an email we got from Chasing Sunshine in North Carolina. He said, "You're irreplaceable, JJ. Don't take that heat. I'd say fantasy football is the enjoyment you get out of it. Doesn't sound like a particularly amicable or reasonable commissioner for your league. I like having discussion and votes amongst the league for ideas, but think it's reasonable for a commission to make certain specific executive decisions, although I don't think your scenario is one of them. That said, a league is worth staying in if it brings you enjoyment and camaraderie. If not, it is strictly let me say that again. If not, and it's strictly just to have another league, I'd say move on from the league. Your fellow commish and fellow Trevor Lawrence fanboy, Chasing Sunshine."
Yeah, appreciate the response. That makes sense. Like I said, I did enjoy being in the league. I mean, it was good people. We had a good draft night. It was a live draft. But like I said,
you said I did enjoy being in the league?
I did enjoy being in the. I did enjoy being in the league.
Did you say did?
I did. I see what you're saying. So I guess I kind of gave it away there. I did enjoy being in the league. I did move on. Just wasn't a fan of the response. It happens. Instead of being in 11 leagues, now I'm down to 10. So it's not like it's gonna be that big of a deal. So if anybody needs an extra guy last minute in the league, I may be available. So hit me up.
Hey, I might have one popping up, actually. That being said, so sometimes you got to move on. Leagues aren't for life, unless you're in a dynasty with us and you guys stay in it for life, or if you don't participate, do something else. So moving on, we got answer to JJ Wang. We love the responses. Thanks for people that have been hitting us up on Instagram. It's been fun. We posted something last night. I put up something about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, thinking he's gonna rise this year because he's on a great team. And then, well, we'll talk about that later.
Talk about it later. It happens. Happens
As
every
we
year.
get started, we're going to do a brief versus segment. Today, we're going to do something different. We're going to have a fun. We're going to do a mock draft show later on. But today, for our versus segment, we're going to talk about something that we believe that fantasy commissioners and players should think about, and that's how to run weekly waivers. There are essentially two options these days, and some of the options can expand into other options. But the two options are FAAB money, where you can use money to auction or blind bid on players, or waiver, just the standard waiver wire where people have waiver wire orders. Sometimes it's based upon worst to best team. Sometimes it's a waiver wire that starts the season and rolls through the year. So we're just gonna keep it simple though. We're not getting too fancy. Is FAAB versus waiver, FAAB money or waiver wire order? What do you think, JJ?
Well, this is like all the other conversations we had. You start, like, most likely you started with the waiver wire. You enjoyed it. I mean, honestly, it took me like 7 years to even figure out how it worked. I didn't even understand. I was like, how do I never get any of the good guys? So, but then I eventually figured it out. And I mean, it takes strategy to use it, but I eventually found FAAB, which is way better. I mean, you have an opportunity of getting anybody you want. If you want to bid big, bid big. It shouldn't be like, oh, I got a waiver last guy, so now I'm back to the bottom of the list. It's just not. I don't think it's really an even playing field there. Everybody should have a shot every week at that same person. If you blow it all one week, I mean, then you got to pay the consequences the following week. So, I mean, I'd rather it be FAAB all day long. But that's not even a big discussion for me.
Yeah, and I've jumped in with you. I had a brain fart earlier. FAAB stands for Free Agent Acquisition Budget. I knew that leading in. I was like, where did it go? So I follow you along the lines there. And this falls also with me along the auction versus standard draft. So waiver wire tends to be easier if you're in a family league or a quick league and you have rolling waivers. You never really figured out. My problem with waivers is it punishes active owners.
Yep.
In leagues where I'm in waiver wires, I always have the 10th waiver because I'm actually picking up guys. So I'm sitting there the week when that one guy comes out of nowhere. Guess what? I don't get him. I got to get the sneakier pickups because I'm active. So the people that are not active, they're like, hey, I've got waiver wire one. Hey, look, this kid DJ Moore is pretty good. He's on the waivers. That's not going to happen. But something crazy like that happens.
Oh, yeah.
A chance. Versus FAAB, you have a chance, and some leagues do FAAB once or twice a week. My new thing is I like doing FAAB or waivers daily. I like how we do that in a couple of our leagues because that has saved. It means that during work, you don't have to spend all day hoping that you don't miss the guy that gets dropped or becomes the new hotness at 12:35 in the afternoon because people have to work. So whichever you choose, I would choose FAAB personally, but I would suggest commissioners and members to talk to their league mates about having waivers or FAAB roll every day, except for Sunday and Monday. On Sunday, you have open free agency. Monday, you have open free agency, mainly to cover those last-minute injuries. So if a quarterback goes down, you can pick up their backup, and that'll help you out versus having to wait the 12 hours. So today we have a special treat for you. We are going to do a mock draft. This is something JJ Wang was excited about. And I was like, how do we do this? Then we talked and he's like, let's do it. Let's roll through. Let's do a mock draft. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Sleeper mock draft tool. It'll show up on the screen if you are watching YouTube. If not, we'll run through it quickly. Some of the picks that are made. We shrunk down the league a little bit. We're going to do 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, and 2 bench. For this trade, each of us is going to have a strategy. JJ Wang, tell us about your strategy for this league.
Yeah, so they always say you shouldn't go into your draft with a strategy, but when you're doing all these mocks, I mean that's the ideal here to see what strategy works, what strategy doesn't, how you like your team. So I'm going to go with the heavy RB strategy. I'm going to take as many running backs as I can through the first couple of rounds if possible. I'm not going to reach super far, but I'll do my best. I want to make it as real as possible. So I'm not going to take an RB3 over, a possible wide receiver 1. That'd be stretching a little too far. But I'm going to take as many running backs as I can.
And I'm going to go your opposite. I've been talking about the 0 RB theory. I'm going to take wide receivers until I want to throw up a little bit. Then I'll wait one more round. Then I'll take a running back. We talked before, like where that range would be, and we'll show when we get there as it's going. So we are going to jump into the draft right now. As you see on the screen, this is our board. JJ Wang is Wang Bone there picking at 1.6. I am Adam J. Dove picking over here at 111. So we're going to go through this draft. We'll stop here and there. We might pause the draft to go through. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking some of the earlier picks. You know who we're going to pick. We will show up on my screen. You'll see when I'm picking players, the highest available players based upon rankings. I'm just going to click wide receiver or tight end, see where we end up at that point. Interestingly enough, Tyreek Hill is Sleeper's #1 receiver. So let us start this draft and see where we end up. Derrick Henry went 1, Dalvin Cook went 2, Christian McCaffrey went 3, Alvin Kamara went 4, and Nick Chubb went 5. So the Sleeper is zigging or zagging, whichever we want to say on here. They took Derrick Henry #1 in a half-point PPR. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah, so yeah, they did take Derrick Henry #1. I mean, I figured he was going to the top 5. Didn't think one. So they went Henry, McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook, and Chubb. So that leaves me most likely between Elliott and Taylor with a long shot of Gibson in there. I really do like Gibson this year. They do say he's the new McCaffrey. So since they took Derrick Henry 1, I think I might go. Ezekiel Elliott here, just to be on the safe side. I know he's going to get all that volume. I'm high on him.
Zeke was followed by Saquon, Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Aaron Jones. So now I'm up at the 111. I took the 111 purposefully so I didn't have to do 2 picks in a row. And I am looking at a couple of options that I'm trying to decide here. Do I take Devontae Adams, who is a alpha 1? Do I take my wide receiver 1, who is, I'm not going to spoil it, you've heard me talk about him, or do I take Travis Kelce, who is the number one tight end, and he would put me a tier ahead in my tight end things. I think I'm going to jump on Devontae Adams, be a little safe here if I am going wide receiver heavy, because I can get a tight end later on that will carry me. So I'm going to take Devontae Adams with my pick. Austin Eckler went 12. I was hoping Kelce would slide to me at the 2.2, but he didn't. So that means I go with a wide receiver. I have some studs here. I am looking at Diggs, Hopkins, Metcalf, and Ridley. I took Adams because of the guaranteed target share from Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to want to ball out this year. I could take Diggs. He is the #1 in Buffalo. Hopkins and Metcalf, those are our arguments that we're having throughout the year. I got Hopkins high. And then my boy Calvin Ridley is sitting right there looking at me.
That's your wide receiver 1, right? I mean, you got to take him, right?
He is my wide receiver 1. Do I put my money where my mouth is?
I mean, why not?
The strategy at this point is I do have the 2.2, but I don't pick again until the 311. There's 22 picks until I pick again. So sometimes you reach a tad bit to get players that you like, knowing now I'm not going to reach down here and pick like somebody who might be picked 3-9. That would be me stretching because I like somebody. But I'm looking at 4 receivers down. So I'm going with Calvin Ridley. So I have Adams, and Ridley was just picked by me, followed by Mixon, Diggs. You missed Antonio Gibson by 2 picks.
Yeah, I thought he was going to fall to me. I thought I was going to get lucky, but Najee Harris is still there. Ooh. Edwards-Helaire and Dobbins. I think I'm choosing between those 3. I really like Dobbins, but I don't have a lot of exposure to Najee Harris here. I think he's going to get the full workload. Dobbins, there is a little extra there in the backfield. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take Najee Harris here. I think a full workhorse running back. To start out with Zeke and Harris, I think that's a great way to start the draft.
Wow. That was followed by Metcalf, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kittle, Swift, Dobbins, Waller. I was hoping one of those tight ends would fall to me. Carson, and you're back on the clock at the 3.6.
All right, so this is kind of where I decide whether or not I want to go super heavy running back, get my first top 3, and see how far I can go with this, because there's David Montgomery is there. I'm really high on him. I like him this year. So I could have 3 possible RB1s. I mean, if I'm going to go running back heavy, I mean, that's a good place to start, right? So you know what? I'm going to go for it. David Montgomery, with my third pick. And then let's see how it works out the rest of the draft.
Oh, my guy fell to me. CD Lamb went next, followed by Keenan Allen, Josh Jacobs, Henderson. Did I just call him Debbie Henderson? Daryl Henderson. Wow, I'm lost. And the guy that fell to me is the guy that I wanted. He could, I see, be a top 5 tight end coming out of the blue. Usually finishes about the low teens. My boy is from the Washington football team. We both love him. We think he's going to catch a bajillion balls from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Terry McLaurin is sitting there. So I'm going to start my 3 starting wide receivers in a zero RB are going to be Adams, Ridley, and McLaurin. How can you start better? I'm starting with elite, talented receivers. Now, we'll wait later till I'm vomiting up the running backs I have, but McLaurin fell, then Allen fell, A-Rob, and I'm going to pause the draft for a moment just to see what you're thinking of. I know you're not a zero RB guy. What do you think of where I'm setting right now?
You're sitting great. If somebody's looking at your draft, you've got some stud wide receivers there. No arguments with that. It's just how long are you willing to go without these running backs, and how much faith you got in all these receivers scoring all your points. Because you're going to have to be some dart throws there, running back. You're going to have to get lucky on hit on those guys, as opposed to what I'm trying to do here. And I still got a lot of good receivers on the board, and I got 3 stud running backs already. So, it's a tricky situation. It's just how you want to. Not having any stud running backs is not an option I would take very often.
Yeah, I look at yours. I love Zeke. I love Harris Montgomery. We both are high on. I would have probably zagged from the heavy RB there and taken. I know you would have wanted CD or even, Keenan falling that far is just crazy, crazy, crazy. So I'm going to restart. I'm going to do what I got to do. Here we go. I've got to take another receiver to keep it going. And I'm looking right now at the Tampa receivers. Cooper's there. He makes me kind of want to puke. I don't think I can take him. Oh, your boy Robbie Woods. Bobby Woods is sitting right there looking at me, or DJ Moore. I think I'm going to jump on the Bobby Woods train. Taking your boy Bobby Woods right here.
And I was hoping you wasn't going to do that, because that was had my eyes on him right there. That was hoping that was the guy who was going to fall to me. But looking at it now, still got DJ Moore. I really like DJ Moore. Cooper Kupp is another part of that offense. That's probably the 2 guys that I would consider going with. Maybe a tight end. Ooh, there is Kyle Pitts is still on the board. You know what? Now that I see him, I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts. I'm gonna see if he can take me to the promised land.
Wow. So looking all the way down, we're going, if you're looking on the screen, after I went, all the Tampa receivers, Godwin, Evans, then it was Cooper, Julio went, Kyle Pitts to JJ Wang. I'll pause it so I can give you the rest of the picks here. And then it was Kyle Pitts, then Miles Sanders, Kyler, DJ Moore, Kareem Hunt, Thielen, Gaskin went 5.1, Deontay Johnson 5.2, Lamar, Etienne, Tyler Lockett. Now we're back to you. Any thoughts before it came back to you? Anybody that they stole from you?
No, it's looking good so far. I got my eye on it, but I'm looking at this now. Your running backs are going to be really bad, so have fun with that. So it's back at me. So I got an idea here. I'm going to go with the other half of the Rams wide receivers, because there's going to be a lot of volume there. See another guy that I'm really high on. I'm going to hope he comes back to me, and I think my team is just going to work out fantastically here. So I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. There's going to be a lot of volume there in that offense. I think the upside is good there.
And I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. I think I've got to take my running back here, because I've got 4 receivers. I could get another receiver that would give me my flex 2 being a receiver. And I'm looking here. There's some receivers I like. There's some good guys sitting there. There's one I might take on the loop around, who's one of my favorites. But I think I got to take my RB1. And part of going with the zero RB theory is you got to reach. You got to hope that you get a guy that you like, that you think could be a stud. So I am going to jump on board. I have heard nothing but great news about this player. Usually if you go zero RBs, you are grabbing rookies. I have heard nothing but good out of Denver. Javonte Williams is killing it. Javonte Williams is the stud. So I'm going to take Javonte Williams. So after you took Cooper Kupp, it was Herbert, Galladay, Hawkinson, Andrews, and I took Williams, then Chase went, then Ayuk went. Now it's back to me. Now, at this point, are you even considering quarterbacks? Since off the board we have Mahomes, Allen, Murray, Jackson, and Herbert. Are you even considering quarterback?
Not yet. I think I got a few more rounds I can hold off and still get one of those elite QB ones. I like to wait on my QB in a one QB league. I can work with anybody.
And I got my 4 receivers in zero RB. Did I wait long enough for zero RB? I'm not sure. Some people would argue I shouldn't have taken an RB yet. But with the rosters we have and starting 3 receivers, I took 4 strong. There's an RB1 sitting right here looking right at me. RBs on the board right now are Mike Davis, Chase Edmonds, James Robinson, Mostert, Gordon, Ronald Jones, Damian Harris, Trey Sermon. I've got to take an RB1 at this point to fill a spot. Mike Davis is the RB1 in Atlanta. Who else is going to run the ball? He's taken the offseason to get himself in shape to be an RB1. I think some reason he got tired last year's. I don't know if he was prepared. It sounds non-professional, but I'm going to jump on Mike Davis right now. So it was Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk. I took Mike Davis. Mike Davis was followed by T. Higgins, Dak Prescott, Michael Thomas still going early, Chase Edmonds, and it's up to you at the 6.7. What are you looking at this point?
Yeah, so I was really hoping Ayuk was going to come back to me. I really like that guy. He's going to be big this year. So probably going to go with the second wide receiver here. There's 2 guys I'm looking at, Cortland Sutton and DJ Chark. I'm a big Chark guy. I think that offense is going to throw a little more. I know Visca's there, but I think Chark's that big body wide receiver, get those touchdowns. So I think I'm going to go DJ Chark. Start working on my wide receiver core.
I can't argue. I'm a Visca guy. After Chark was OBJ. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Still a little high, I think, for my own likes. Claypool, Sutton went. He's my boy. Mostert, Melvin Gordon, Russell Wilson, Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster, Debo Samuel. Oh, James Robinson almost got back to you. And now you're back on the clock at 7.6.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go back to my running backs here. There's a guy that I'm high on. It's part of that 49ers offense. Of course, I love the 49ers offense.
What are you doing?
Since I couldn't get Ayuk, I'm going to get another piece of it. I'm going to go with Trey Sermon here. I think he's going to have a lot of volume. Plus, if any of my running backs go down, I got a solid backup. I can fill right in.
You're killing me. You're killing me.
But you couldn't have took Robert Woods.
After him was Goddard, Judy, Robbie Anderson, Aaron Rodgers, and now I'm on the clock. So far I have 4 receivers, 2 running backs. I can sort of go anywhere I want. I'm looking at, I don't have a tight end, but the tight end I want is still on the board. Still within tiers I would go. Receivers available are Devonta Smith, Tyler Boyd, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Curtis Samuel, Landry, Waddle, Chenault's there, Mike Williams, AB. Running backs available are Damian Harris but I guess he's like the number 3 in New England now, right? After the Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, sure. Well, whatever. You say whatever you want. Believe whatever you want.
Fournette, David Johnson, Connor, AJ Dillon. And looking at quarterbacks, my number 1 quarterback is sitting right there, and I think it's at the point where I've got to take him. My number 1 guy I draft. He wasn't number 1 on my rankings, but he's the guy that I think could end up being quarterback 1. So right here, it's a little bit of a reach, but I'm going to take Tom Brady, who I think is going to throw for a lot of yards with all of those weapons this year. So I have a starting lineup, and when you're drafting, after him was Fournette and Harris. I'm going to pause this for a moment here with a question for you, JJ Wang. When drafting, what's your philosophy? Do you draft best available? Do you draft to fill roster? Or how do you go into thinking about what your draft looks like at this point? Because we are close to having starting lineups. I'm missing a tight end. You're missing a quarterback. Will you try to fill a roster, or will you try to fill a need or a position?
I mean, I'm not really trying to fill a roster. I mean, I'm taking people that I like. I mean, if I'm not taking best available, because if the best available is somebody I'm not really high on, I'm not going to take him. I want to enjoy my team. I don't want a bunch of guys on my team I really don't enjoy. So, I mean, as we roll through, guy pops up that I really, really like and might not make it back to me, I'll reach on him. I'll take him. Got no no thoughts there. But like I said, it's just I don't really go into it with the same strategy everyone. It's just how the players fall to me, who I like. I like to have a team full of players that I'm high on. Just makes my season more enjoyable.
It's can't say I argue at all. I think I was thinking I would also at some points, if there's a guy you like you mentioned that earlier, and you want to root for him, and you're not saying, "Hey, I like Leonard Fournette and I want him in the first round." That's just stupid. But if you're within range, there was a guy in our draft last week who's like, "I want to get Leonard Fournette," and he fell to him for an amazing price, like $1 or something. I believe he got him for.
Yeah,
But if there's a guy you like and you reach a smidge for him, fantasy football is about having fun. So if you can have
absolutely.
fun with a player that you want to root for, go for it. So I'm going to resume the draft here. It's my pick at the 8.2. I have 4 receivers, 2 running backs, and a quarterback. And I think I'm going to stick with my wide receiver heavy. I'm going to throw a receiver in here that I'm looking at. There's a couple in here that I'm thinking this is when I would think about I could reach for Visca. I'm looking at Fuller, who's going way low, but he's going to be back for all but one game. Brandon Cooks is a target hog no matter who the garbage quarterback is. Devonta Smith looked like a monster. Is there anybody else on that team that's going to catch a ball? Because Rager can't get separation.
It's
And
looking
then
like he's going to be it. I mean, other than the tight ends.
I don't like gambling on rookies, but there's a feeling just watching him or Tyler Boyd in that three-headed monster. Heard a stat that in the last 4 years, where 3 receivers have been taken in the top 60, only once have all 3 receivers finished within the top 60. So Tyler Boyd scares me because I think the other 2 are better than him. So I'm gonna get a guy I haven't drafted anywhere else because I always get beat to the punch. I'm gonna take Devonta Smith here just because of the guaranteed targets. Dude's gonna get targeted galore. So he was followed by Brandon Cooks, the other thought, Tyler Boyd, Curtis Samuel, Michael Carter, and now JJ Wang. You're on the clock.
Yeah, I was hoping Devonta Smith would fall to me. Then I switched. I hope Boyd was going to fall to me, but obviously neither one of those happens. I got 4 running backs. I think we're good there. Still need to work on my wide receiving crew. Lavisca's there, but I already have Chark, so I don't know if I want 2 receivers from the same team. I don't think it really matters that much because I think they'll both be solid. Jalen Waddle's still there. I think he's going to end up being the number 1 in Miami. They might. I'm not really sure how that offense is going to work. But you know what? I think I'm going to give Miami a shot, and I might go with Jalen Waddle here. It's a good wide receiver 3. You're
As
going to
you
get a lot. I think there'll be a lot of targets to go there.
And then after Waddle was David Johnson, Will Fuller, the other Miami receiver, Zach Moss, Tanyan, Landry, Chenault went 9.1. Mike Williams, 9.2, reached Mr. 9.2. Noah Fant, Matt Stafford went 9.4. That would be the other quarterback I was thinking about.
Yeah, I
Kenyon
like him.
Drake went 9.5. Who are my running backs going to be? Now it's your turn. You're up at 9.6.
So we're here in round 9. I got my 3 receivers. How many we're starting? So now I think I might be looking at quarterback. There's a guy on here that I'm really excited about. He's a rookie. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who he is. Plus I'll get that DJ Chark, Trevor Lawrence combo package. I mean, it's going to be huge, right? So I think my pick here is going to be Trevor Lawrence. I think it's going to work out great. This one also goes in for the question from Chasing Sunshine today. I hope he likes this pick.
I think you're reaching your brains out. I see one. Jalen Hurts is going to get the running. No, not being people are high on him. You get him later. Tannehill is going to get the yards. Burrow should be good. I'll mention him a little bit later. Matt Ryan is nothing but consistent. And with the last pick, I'm tempted these days to take Deshaun Watson because it looks like he might play.
He
After
might.
him, they made better picks. Ryan Tannehill went after him, then Jalen Hurts, then James Conner, Logan Thomas. He's a quarterback. Oh, wait, no, he's a tight end now. Now I am up at 9.11. I have 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 4 receivers rather, 5 receivers. So and a quarterback. So at this point, if you go with the 0 RB, this is when I just start throwing darts, trying to find a running back that will get me points. And a lot of times that's
Look,
going to be those scat backs. It's going to be those guys who get the extra yards, the backup that might be part of a committee where they will get it, which leads to who I'm going to pick. It's a the guy in front of him just got paid, but you can't set the quads. The quads will always move. I am a fan of people with ginormous legs, like my giant calves and my quads are in the same realm. Not really the same realm, but for a short guy, I
Not
got
really
giant
close.
quads and calves. Nothing compared to this dude. But AJ Dillon is my pick. He's going to get a boat ton of yards, a boat ton of carries. I think they're going to split more than they did before because they invested highly. He won't get the high pressure situations, but he's going to get his, and he could vulture some touchdowns. So AJ Dillon is my 9.11 pick. After him, Gesicki was taken, then Joe Burrow. Now I'm back up at 10.2. And at this point, I've got a couple of options. One option would be to snake your backup, to take a little Tony Pollard there. Naheem Hines, he's that guy we've talked about. Is he going to be the monster he was last year? PPR, I'm not 100% sure he will be. And the thing that I was gonna go running back, but as I look across the board, the tight end that I had left is the next guy that's going to go automatically off the board. So I'm going to have to take Matt Stafford's new best friend. So I'm going to be running with double Rams, Tyler Higbee. Everett is gone. Higbee's going to have to step up his game. There is a rookie Harrison there that could still something. He's a big boy, but he's a rookie. So Higbee is the tight end one for a Rams offense that without Cam Akers is going to pass a lot. So Tyler Higbee, followed by Antonio Brown, Michael Pittman, Gus Edwards, Mooney, the new hotness. Antonio Brown, I was thinking about because those three receivers. Whew. So you're up at 10.7.
I was really hoping Pittman falls back to me. I'm not really getting the guy I want here at all. So now with all my positions filled, now I'm just going to take shots at people I think that can produce. I really wanted to go wide receiver here. I'm not even looking at running backs because they're terrible. And I'm already set. I mean, I got 4 solid ones, so I can start focusing on everything else. Don't need another tight end or another quarterback. So I'm pretty much left with just wide receivers here. And looking at the wide receivers, not a lot. There's Marvin Jones there, but like I said, I already got DJ Chark, Michael Gallup. That offense is going to throw a lot. Do I take a risk on Corey Davis? Not really sure there.
Things are starting to sound really good.
This is really hard. I do see Elijah Moore. I'm not really sure what's going to happen on that Jets offense, but I do like him. I really haven't got a lot of shares of him. So, with the risk, I mean, it might be he's not going to start. I think I might just take Elijah Moore here and see if he can break through.
At this point, you're in a rookie. You drafted 4 rookies in a row, dude.
I love my rookies, man. I can't get away from the young guy. It's just something I have. The age just affects me in some reason.
All those dynasty guys. After Elijah Moore was Gronk, Corey Davis went. You're on the same train as them. Hines, Gallup, Hollywood, Singletary, Big Irv. That guy I thought would fall to me, Jamal Williams, Tony Pollard, Baker Mayfield. Now it's back to you.
All right, so I think I'm going to go wide receiver here again. See, guy that I like. It's actually one of your sleeper guys. He plays for Atlanta. Their offense is going to be a lot of passing. I already have Kyle Pitts, but like I said, probably Gage might not be starting a lot. I mean, he might be, depends on how many targets he got. So I'm gonna go with Russell Gage here. I did like the Ruggs. I was thinking about Ruggs, but I'm not really sure about that guy. That's a lot right there.
I was thinking some Russell Gage there if I wanted to add another receiver. Then it was followed by Ruggs, Hunter Henry, Phillip Lindsay, Mecole Hardman, and now I'm up at the 11-11. I have a quarterback, 3 running backs, 5 receivers, and a tight end. So I'm still at this point. I would love to take Marvin Jones. He would be a good spot right here. I would love to throw in Amon-Ra St. Brown, my boy, but I could get him later. Terrence Marshall's looking good for receivers. Marquez Callaway, but I have 3 questionable running backs. I've got to grab a running back here to fill a hole. And this is the point when you are stretching. You're looking for someone who could have some upside. I have 2 guys I'm looking at. I'll take the higher ranked guy. I don't think he's going to be as good as last year, but he did get the catches last year. So I'm looking at Mr. J.D. McKissick. I'm thinking I'm going to take him. I love Gibson, but if Gibson becomes CMC, I just wasted a pick. But at this point, I'm reaching for the hope of some of that scat back that I can get out of McKissick. I took McKissick there last, forgetting that we had shrunk for the sake of time our bench spots. So here is the team that I have. At quarterback, I have Tom Brady. My starting 2 running backs are Javonte Williams, Mike Davis. My starting 3 receivers are Adams, Ridley, McLaurin. My flex spots will be Bobby Woods and then probably Devonta Smith. And my starting tight end is Tyler Higbee. And my 2 bench spots were running backs that I somehow clicked on Madison when I meant to click McKissick, as you see on the screen, but I have McKissick and Dillon. So I put those running backs on the bench. When I get to the waiver wire, I'm going to add a couple more running backs. There are other running backs I would have looked at. Salvin Ahmed, I would have looked at farther down there. There's many running backs I would have popped in there, but I would stack a bunch of running backs at this point because my receivers are so good. So
yeah, your receivers are really good, but have fun enjoying playing with those running backs. I mean, it's going to be a great season. Opposite of me, I'm looking at my team. My quarterback is Trevor Lawrence. Of course, he's going to be great. Never doubt about that. My running backs are Zeke Elliott, Harris. My flex spots most likely going to be David Montgomery because 3 strong running backs. I got my tight end and Kyle Pitts, going to be amazing. Big dude, great offense. Then here's where it gets kind of sketchy. I'm going to need some big plays here. I got Cooper Kupp, DJ Chark, Jalen Waddle as my 3 wide receivers. I think it's going to be solid. A lot of offense there. My bench spots are, of course, more receivers with Russell Gage and Elijah Moore, just going for upside there. I think my team is great. I think I pretty much won the league in the draft, as you always do. Fantastic. Maybe I could get some votes for my team being so great.
And we'll post a poll and see what people think. I would gamble looking at your team that Russell Gage is your wide receiver 3.
I mean, if it happens that way, I mean, I wouldn't be upset. I'll fill in whoever I've got. I mean, like I said, the upside is there, so a lot of targets. Hopefully,
my team is stout. I would put head to head, crush you because I love Mike Davis. I love Javonte Williams. And taking a little bit of a step down on Williams, Davis is going to be a top 24 running back, but I've got all my receivers could all end up in the top 10 without a second thought. And Smith, he could be a top 30 receiver, and I'm glad to go. And I'm even willing to add another bet to us. You have Kyle Pitts. I have Tyler Higbee. I would bet that Tyler Higbee ends the season with more fantasy points than Kyle Pitts. Put your money where your mouth is, friend.
Well, I mean, I will definitely take that bet. I don't even think it's going to be close. Kyle Pitts is going to run away with this one, but yeah, write her down. I'll take that one.
So this is going into our simple bet board. We're going to figure out a consequence later on. Our first bet was that DK versus D Hop better finish in 2021. This is our second bet, and that's according to 0.5 PPR. So that our second bet here is going to be you're going to take Pitts.
Yep.
Versus Higbee.
Take Higbee. I mean, it's going to be. Honestly, I think it'll be a good battle. There's going to be a lot of weapons there, but I think Higbee's that third option. I think Kyle Pitts is the number 2 option. So, pretty sure I'm pretty sure how the fans will vote on this one. I'm pretty sure
it's not even worth a poll. It's not even worth a poll. I'm pretty sure that I would get obliterated. It wouldn't even be a thought because of the Kyle Pitts mania. So as we get ready for training camp, part of the reason that we are moving to the Saturday show is I was listening to our show on Wednesdays, and some of our news was late, and there's no point that happening this time of the year. So when we record, we're going to post it up. And that's our goal as we get into the season, is we're going to try to stay closer to time because so much is happening. So many things are changing as time goes on. So we'll talk with a couple of injuries here. We have some Eagles news. My boy Carry-On got cut, and my boy Jalen Hurts is puking his guts up. So he pulled himself out Friday. I mean, I don't know if any Eagles Thursday rather. I don't know if any Eagles showed up for that game, but when Flacco
I I don't think they did. That was a terrible. I know preseason doesn't matter much, but Jesus, show up, man, do something.
I had a friend who said he's a Eagles fan. He said, the over was 6.5, but I've never during a playoff game going, I think I'm taking the under. So
It's going to be bad.
I mean, the good news is it was a stomach flu, stomach bug of some sort. It wasn't COVID or anything of that matter. Carry on is cut injury designation. So I believe he's been shifted to IR last I'd seen, or at least he's on IR on my dynasty team. I love the guy. I was hoping he gets signed by Miami, but he could be cut, then sit on the long-term IR. But that does clear up some running back room for Miles Sanders. Was Carry on going to still carries? I don't know, but he's going to carry still more than one. Hey, that's one more carry for Miles Sanders, Boston Scott.
Yep, absolutely.
Catches for Gainwell. We posted on Friday on Instagram how Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to have a great year, and I firmly believe that still. I have him a little higher in my rankings than some others do. I just traded away the ranch to get him in a dynasty league, mainly because I had no running backs. But as soon as we posted that, within an hour, he sprained his ankle. He's supposed to have an MRI. It's not suspected to be a high ankle sprain. So
yeah, it didn't. I mean, from what I gathered, nobody sounded too serious about it. I mean, it's a sprained ankle. I mean, I'm pretty sure this kind of stuff happens literally every day on the football field. These guys are tough enough to play through it. They act like it's never even an option. Unless, like you said, it's those high ankle sprains. I mean, like these ankle sprains would keep me down for 3 or 4 days, but these guys just wrap it up and get right back out on the field.
Tell you what, high ankle sprain is no joke. Right before the end of the world, I got one playing basketball, and I couldn't do anything for a while. Now I play basketball with braces. It's crazy. I'm getting old. Yeah. Last two we have are people looking on the mend. Swift had a groin injury. Apparently, it looks like they were overly cautious with a lot of holding them out because the moment he got back, they handed him the ball, and was practice, but they gave him a heavy workload through practice. So, I mean, even though we know he's the number 2 scat back on that team, it is making my number 16 placing of him on my rankings look a little better.
Yeah, I mean, that's either way. I mean, that offense still scares me. And still know Jamal Williams is going to get carries. Just how much? Of course, they obviously like Swift. They're going to give him the ball as much as possible. But like I said, it's a bad offense. I really don't have much opinion on it. Really, we'll see where it goes.
Scare of the week went to Mark Andrews. He was down. They had to cart him off. I thought it was diabetes related. Apparently, he just was dehydrated. And usually, I was listening to somebody else say it's just odd to see that happen to professional athletes because the teams are so cognizant of it. So, but he was down. It was a scary moment. People were thinking the worst, but it seems that it was just heavy dehydration. He's up and ready to go. My boy Cortland Sutton recovering from his knee injuries, or his knee was just basically shredded wheat last year, is healthy, and the goal is for him to play in one of the last 2 preseason games. I think he's going to be a beast. He said he is coming back and he is going to be stronger than before. Believe the hype.
Well, I mean, I believe the hype, but like I said, in order to believe it, you're gonna have to believe in Drew Lock a little bit, right? Because without Drew Lock, that hype doesn't happen. So
he did decent with Drew a couple of years before. So we have 2 hypes, and this week we're adding some anti-hype. My first hype train is a guy you might not have heard of, but you better learn the name. This guy is Juwan Johnson, tight end 1 for the New Orleans Saints through the first preseason game. In case you were wondering, the total number of catches for the much touted Adam Troutman was 0. But my boy had 2 catches for 71 yards. Troutman wasn't even targeted. They're not even thinking about him. They're like, dude has 16 whole catches in his career. This guy has 0. So why not just see what they can get out of him? He is a big boy converted to tight end, and he's 6'4", 231. If he can get some blocking down, imagine if they started 2 tight ends. They got no receiver, so they could both be playing. That could be a possibility.
I mean, maybe, but let's be real here. I mean, Troutman is so good. He really doesn't need to get on the field during preseason. Like you say, he had 16 targets last year only, but I mean, they were 15 catches. So obviously he doesn't need to learn how to catch. He catches everything that comes his way. So I even risk putting him on the field, right? You don't want your number 1 receiver to be injured. So I'm not really worried about Juwan Johnson. I got all my faith in Adam Troutman. I mean, he's going to have 95 catches on 100 targets, so I'm not really too worried about it.
Yeah, he's got that 95% catch rate. And I picked up Deshaun Johnson in a league just to put him there because, hey, I got space and it's tight end premium. Why not? We do have some Ron Rivera, Christian McCaffrey news.
Yeah, so evidently, it's no surprise here. The Washington football team want to use Antonio Gibson, kind of like they used Christian McCaffrey in the past, which makes sense. I mean, he's a great running back, obviously, and he played wide receiver in college, so he's a wide receiver and a running back, kind of like McCaffrey is. Pretty much destroys J.D. McKissick. I really wasn't too high on him anyway. I think Gibson's going to get most of that work. He might not even come off the field. As long as he can take the workload, like I said, I love this guy. He's probably one of my favorite players in the league at this moment.
I'm so disappointed you didn't take him at 5. Had to go for Cowboys.
Yeah, I like a little I'm not my Cowboy Homer came out of me a little bit there. I might be regretting that later.
Yeah, good news. You don't have to play with the team. We shared it
Yeah,
today.
exactly.
That's what it is.
It never happened.
When they vote my team better, it won't matter. So we got 2 anti-hypes. Apparently, the Bengals are looking pretty bad. The passing is bad. The catching is bad. They look like the Bengals of old, even though they are star-studded. They have a top 10 running back who actually someone traded me this week in a trade where I got a first-round pick and Mixon in a dynasty for Hawkinson, and it was so minutiae. I totally forget who the other player was.
Yeah, I seen. I'd definitely rather have your side of that one.
But he sent it to me, and it was one of those. Okay,
let's do it.
What can I do? So, but I have this feeling. I was telling you before. I have this feeling. Preseason sometimes doesn't mean a lot. I could see the Bengals come out guns a blazing and just balling out. So that's why it's anti-hype right now. But I think it's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like I say, can't believe anything you say in preseason. These guys are just trying to throw out smoke screens, saying we're not playing well. We're playing great. We're not playing well. These guys aren't doing good. Like, who knows? They're going to come out, throw the ball 50 times, and just probably light the world on fire. Who knows? But so my hype here is this. My anti-hype is this Miami backfield. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Evidently, they're going to use all 3 running backs. I don't think any of them are really all that special. I got my vote on Savon Ahmed being the best one out of the 3. Of course, the hype is on Myles Gaskin this year, but he's a late round pick. Malcolm Brown, he's probably going to steal all the end zone carries. Nobody else is going to get any touchdowns. So, I mean, it's going to be a disaster. I'd probably stay away from all of it. If I'm going to have one, like I said, it's going to be Ahmed. I think he's probably the best running back out of all of them.
Yeah, I like Ahmed. They started Malcolm Brown, which was shocker, but he looked like he was running in mud. The other part of my trade was Hawkinson and Rondell Moore for Mixon and a first rounder. I'm rebuilding, but I got a first rounder out of it. And even though Mixon's in year 6, I believe I loved Rondell Moore. That was the painful part more than Hawkinson because I got tight.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Mixon scares me. He's all or nothing. You really don't know what you're getting with that guy at this point.
So yeah, that's our draft. That's our show for today. We are going to 2 shows more or less the next couple of weeks as we get ready for the NFL season being a little bit over 2 weeks away. Make sure to like us, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow us on your favorite podcast. Like us on YouTube so we can get to those 50 followers. JJ Wang, take us out of here.
Yeah, I mean, fun show. I'd like to thank you for all the hard work you do with putting all this together. Everything you see here is all courtesy of you. I have no idea what's going on. I just kind of show up and just bring the magic, and hopefully everybody enjoys it. Like I said, you do all the hard behind the scenes work. It's much appreciated. Trust yourself, and as always, trust the process.